Hello everybody, I am Scott and welcome to Kerbal Space Program. Today on the agenda we are stealing a comment from a YouTube video that said, catch a vessel from orbit of Gilly. Now if you don't know, Gilly is the moon of Eve in this system and is very small, so I think the orbital velocity is very low and there's no atmosphere, so catching a vessel is actually possible. Now I thought this would be worth a try, but first of all I need to do some testing. So basically I didn't know anything about Gilly, so I put my little can in orbit to see what the orbital velocity was. Okay, and here we are. So orbit velocity is 15 meters per second, but in saying that we are quite high. I did a little more testing with flying at lower altitudes in orbit and I concluded that it is possible. If we had RCS propellant on here, I'm thinking that we could position ourselves into a docking port on the surface. As you can see here, we are in an orbit of Gilly, so that would count for the challenge. So let's try to design that. So basically all I needed was a little capsule to keep a Kerbal in that had a small engine because of the low gravity, didn't really need anything big, and monopropellant to move around and get in line with the docking port. And now this is what I came up with, and as you can tell by my voice, I was extremely certain that it would work. And that design should work. Now we need to design what will actually catch the vessel. So I'm thinking, and think I did, this vessel took a lot longer to construct because I had to do a lot of thinking. I wanted to make the base heavier so that it wouldn't topple over when the orbital velocity craft came to dock with it, but after realizing because the surface gravity of Gilly was so low, having a heavier base wouldn't really do anything. So instead I opted to have these pistons extend and have them act as legs, and they would support the craft while docking. Now I was also wondering how high the docking port would have to be. Because I'm at orbital velocity, I didn't want to come too close to the ground, so I had to make sure that there were pistons that extended up into the sky to contain the docking port. And because I wanted to keep a somewhat small profile at launch, I put everything on hinges and on pistons as well, so that it could kind of expand outwards when we approached Gilly. Okay, so this is what I've come up with for the docking structure. I'll open up catch ship, dock that to top of this so that we can teleport it to Gilly and give it a test before we do the full mission. Actually, before we head off, there's just a few things I forgot. I actually completely forgot to add batteries, any solar panels, any fuel, any communications, any engines. So I just quickly slap those on, and now we can do a test. Okay, and now extend the legs as well. Might be a bit of a harsh landing. Well, overall, luckily that is fine because the gravity is so low. So from this I could tell that gravity was going to pose a little bit of an issue, but apart from that, the build was all ready to be sent up to Gilly. So with that being said, the last thing we have to build is the rocket that's going to take this structure to Gilly. Now everything was pretty straightforward apart from the interplanetary stage. That is the stage that would take us to Eve. That's because I've downloaded a lot of part mods recently and I just really wasn't sure what engine to use / what combination of fuel tank, and I chose to use 2.5 meter wide fuel pieces when I really should have gone with the 3 meter wide ones, because 2 meter wide was just a little bit too thin for a mission of this size. I underestimated that a little bit, and so the total rocket ended up coming a bit thin. Looked a bit silly. I'll talk about that a bit more. But yeah, apart from the interplanetary stage, everything else was just a big dumb booster that was really pretty simple to make. And now we can proceed to the launch. Alright, so this is what we've got. I think I should have made it out of 3 meter wide parts instead of 2 meter wide because it's a bit skinny, and I think I went a bit overkill. I will be accepting no comments about the shape of this rocket. But look, Kerbal Kerman looks super happy about it, so I think we should all follow in his image and just go straight forward. Yeah, let's just go for a launch. Good gracious, that's loud. So, as long as nothing bad happens, nothing bad should happen. Something bad happened. Just yet, so we're gonna have to burn a little bit more. Oh no. No, please don't blow that up. Oh, why is it paused? Oh! So basically, everything blew up. So, the next launch, I just decided to just lock in and just go for it. I did a bit of a questionable gravity turn, but I saw someone say the other day that gravity turns are just suggestions, so that makes me feel a little bit better about it. Okay, now we're about to go into space. I feel a little more comfortable getting over the fairing. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we can just... That's fine, we can time warp out of that. I'm gonna make a circularization maneuver at our apoapsis. Gonna extend our solar panels so that we don't run out of energy. Quick 5-second burn to circularize. Boom. Alright, so I'm gonna use the handy dandy maneuver planner, our current orbit. Now we have to go to Eve. Okay, so that's only in 48 days. Unfortunately, Kerbal Kerman is going to have to wait in his little cockpit for... I mean, there's the transfer as well, so that's going to take... Oh yeah, he's going to be in here for a while. He's got pretty good views, so if I was him, I wouldn't be complaining. So I'm not going to show this, but it's flashing a lot because we are time warping to our maneuver to Eve. You know, Kerbal Kerman, you do not look 48 days older at all. Burn is going to take 40 seconds, so I'm just going to speed through it a bit. Alright, so on the first try, we've gotten an encounter with Eve. Yeah, I've been having an absolutely terrible time trying to get an encounter. Look at how close these are. Now it's time to time warp away till our maneuver. So from here on in, it was just doing some interplanetary course corrections and maneuvers to try and get a flyby lined up with Gilly. If you've played KSP before, you know that getting a encounter with Gilly is pretty difficult because of how low mass it is. Its sphere of influence isn't very large. So yeah, I was having to fiddle around with that a little bit, but in the end we got there. Should be encountering Eve at any point now. There it is. And... Gilly, where are you? And now on arrival at Gilly, Kerbal Kerman has been in his little cockpit for 88 days. You know, some people think that the Kerbal is photosynthesized or whatever, but you know, I reckon that they actually time warp with us, because when you look at them when they're time warping, you know, they don't really move any differently. They move at the same speed, so I reckon they time warp with us. That's how I'm going to choose to not feel bad about them anyway. So now I was just capturing around Gilly to hopefully do a landing, but when I ignited my engines, something a bit weird started happening. Alright, so that's bending, I'm not sure why that's doing it. Okay, that's not good. Oh, it's not locked. Why can't I lock it? I have no idea why that's happened. That's not good. Now, because my options were pretty limited, I just decided to do the most Kerbal thing possible and just flip the rocket back around and just slow down and hope that that didn't happen again. And you know what? It actually worked. I think when we have too many G-forces, it just starts to bend, which I guess makes sense. But we're going too fast for this kind of tomfoolery. What can you do? Actually, there's no point really orbiting there. They would just waste fuel. Let's just land. Realizing that my initial plans of orbiting before landing would just waste fuel, I decided to separate from my interplanetary stage, aim for what I thought was flat ground, and see if I could land this thing. I can't really tell if this area is flat since Gilly really is not a ball. So I'd burn in 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Is it just me, or were those seconds getting really quick? Suspicious countdown aside, it was now time to do what we had been training for at the start of the video. Now, be able to unlock the landing legs, get them angled out, get the unlocked, and them. Okay, we are now at a blistering 1 meter per second. Slow us down a little bit. Alright, so that is... oh, there's Eve. That is definitely not flat. But, I mean, looking at the surface, not much better I could have done, I don't think. But let me cook. I know what I'm doing. I then tried to sort out the landing legs for like 5 whole minutes. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to go to Gilly ever again after this, but I probably will. Well, okay, we're in a bit of an interesting spot, but nonetheless, it'll do. I'll make a quick save. We can now extend these legs, unlock them, extend, unlock you, extend. Low gravity on Gilly is a bit of a blessing and a curse because it makes things a lot easier because you don't have to worry about weight so much. But at the same time, it does take so long to do anything. Just half the time is spent just waiting to fall back down. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the hard part, which is undocking this and getting it ready to start orbiting, that we can try and dock back to this thing from orbit. That's right, JDs and Lentilmen, it is now time to do what we planned to do from the very start of the episode, now that we have finally gotten to Gilly and finally gotten everything in order. This is what I mean about low gravity being a blessing as well. Now we can ignite our engine. Activate. There we go. And huzzah. Turn trajectories back on. I moved the ship into orbit and messed around a little bit with the orbital trajectories to try and get a rendezvous, I suppose, with the ground target, which was actually surprisingly difficult, but thankfully the trajectories mod helped a ton with this and made everything very easy. So now I bring you the docking attempts, plural. It's looking pretty good. So yeah, the plan had worked, and this is the first docking attempt that you're going to see now. And it's going to take quite a lot of effort and concentration, and unfortunately the more I concentrate the less I speak, so I'm just going to have to narrate a bit here and there to provide some more context. I'm going to try and decelerate a bit. I pressed the wrong button. Let's just see how we're lined up. You know what? I think that is very possible. Yes, I think that's very possible. So first thing that I need to do, I need to warp to this guy, and I need to point his thing the other way around. I need to control from here. I need to set myself as the target, and I need to point towards target. I didn't explain it well at the time here, but this decisions I made here was absolutely big brain. Genius play to have it constantly be trying to look at our craft. Use the right was an absolute game changer for docking and made it. I'm gonna say relatively easy because as you're gonna see, it definitely was not easy. Save here. Yeah, very big brain. Big brain. Yeah, very smart play there by me. target. I'm flying a little bit with the nav ball here by pointing us correctly of target. Save here as well. Slow us down a little bit. Flying with the nav ball here again, and oh, I hit it. Oh damn. Okay, this is gonna be very difficult, but I think we can do it. Oh, it's going flying again. By the way, I just checked, and we are actually technically in orbit of Gilly, because we have an apoapsis that is not on the surface. We are at orbital velocity as well. I'm actually gonna fly in this mode. Too low this time. Okay. Oh come on, that was direct. Am I really gonna need to slow down that much? Okay. Start slowing down before I even change cameras. Nah, that was dead on. There's no way. I'm actually gonna use Better Time Warp's slow-mo feature, just so that we can see exactly what's happening here. Spoiler alert, it really didn't help. If we hit this... Yeah, well that wasn't direct. Alright, so from here, this looks like it's gonna be dead on too fast. Because I mean, that's perfect. Okay, it wasn't perfect. Okay. That was perfect, and we were just going too fast. The docking port exploded. So, unfortunately, we are gonna have to slow down a little bit, but hopefully, I will still be able to remain in orbit. This discovery was heartbreaking because it meant that it wasn't actually possible to dock from Gilly orbit. But would it be possible to dock from Gilly orbit by slowing down? That's what I wanted to find out. So I've tried everything I can, but it seems that orbital velocity around Gilly is just too fast to be able to dock. Nonetheless, I kept trying. Oh no! That was so close! Are you kidding me? Tell me I was recording that. Oh! The frustration was getting to me. I had to try something else before I went nuts. Oh! This, unfortunately for me, has turned into more of a mental battle than a skill one. See, and then it exploded that time, and it doesn't always. Well, there's one more thing I can try. That is spinning retrograde really quickly, giving a bit of a puff, and then spinning back towards the target. Okay, now it's slowing down even more. And okay, that was still too fast. Okay, let's try that again. Spin retrograde. Go to about 10 meters per second. Spin towards target. Line everything up again. Oh, we were a bit too high that time. But we might still dock. Hey! Oh my god. Yeah, you know what? I'm counting that. We're going up a little bit, but you know what? I know I can do better than that. I know it. And too high again because of the stupid camera. I'm blaming it on the camera 100%. Oh goodness, I've gone a bit too slow this time. I need to just speed ourselves up a little bit. Done. Okay. Pointed towards target. Hit the brakes a little bit. And there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, you have seen it here first. It is possible to dock to the surface of Gilly from its orbit. This has been Skosh playing Kerbal Space Program. This has been Bibble Kerbin, who is now stranded on Gilly for the rest of time. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.